Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Well. Here's a novel idea. The morning briefing. You don't have to like Trump to vote for him. I agree 100%. There's some personality flaws, and I'm a big Trump supporter that he has that I wish he didn't have, but he does. That's the way it is. But the alternative, the alternative is worse. Now, you don't have to like the guy to agree with his policies. How many man on the street interviews have you seen on YouTube, especially, that will reverse the policies? In other words, they'll say it was Joe Biden's policy, but it was really Trump's, and they'll list them all, and then they'll all agree. Oh, yeah, knowing it wasn't Trump. And then at the end, of course, they say to them, by the way, it was Trump's policies. And they always lie, especially the college students, and say, well, maybe I'll look at this a little more objectively. That's BS. They won't. But the fact of the matter is this. It's a popularity contest in a lot of ways. Now, Joe Biden is exactly what I would call, the most popular guy in the class, but neither is Trump. Why do you vote for people? Policy. And women are going to take this the wrong way, but not all, but many women and some men do it emotionally from their personality of the individual they're voting for. Ask anybody that's delved into the JFK Richard Nixon election, and they'll tell you the same thing. Happy Monday. It's an understatement to say that things are getting a little amped up here in the United States for the last 8 years or so when it comes to politics. Everybody's got an abundance of feelings, and a disturbing amount of sharing happens. I love that, disturbing amount of sharing. While it's understandable that people can become passionate about candidates and issues, feelings sometimes need to be put aside. Former President Donald Trump brings an overload of emotions in voters, and they're all over the place, which is true. Some voters worship him, some tolerate him, some despise him. Okay, a lot of them despise him, especially once the Democrats are factored in. As friends and colleagues of mine are fond of saying, Trump broke a lot of people. People who still call themselves conservatives and are Republicans who hate Trump so much they don't want to vote for him are letting their feelings get in the way of the continued existence of the Republic, which is true. The Democrats and the progressives want to dismantle the Republic. And I don't mean civil war or any of that nonsense. I'm talking about dismantling the Constitution. It's just amazing to me. They don't want to vote for him, are letting their feelings get in the way of a continued existence of the Republic. It is really that simple. All one has to do is look at the damage that has been done in the country by the commies who are running what's left of Joe Biden's brain. Let's tell the truth here. He's not really the president. Let's just take a look at a few of the things from the weekend stories. The Democrats' assault on the future of female athletes continues unabated, but some are starting to push back. The Dems' raging anti-Semitism is making it unsafe for Jews in America. Oh, and good luck to anyone looking to buy their first house. We didn't even get around to the Mexican border nightmare news last weekend. In November, you will be voting to try and stop this lunacy. This isn't a Tinder date. You're not looking for a life partner. What we're looking for is to get away from the Biden-Harris threat. Donald Trump is the best option for that. There are other options, but they're all lefties. For the purpose of dealing with reality, I won't waste time speculating on whether Robert F. Kennedy Jr. can win. Robert wrote a post yesterday about a couple of people who weren't big Trump fans, but are starting to get it a little bit. The first one might really surprise you. First is the man who Tucker Carlson invariably dubbed the creepy porn lawyer, Michael Avenatti. Porn star Stormy Daniels' former lawyer, who is now doing time for a variety of crimes, including theft and fraud. This has given him some time to think about the man whose indictment he called for back in 2018. Remember on CNN and MSNBC? They thought he was on the short list for president. Remember that one? Avenatti? And who we thought would defeat for the presidency in 2020. Avenatti has thought so much about the whole thing, has done a complete 180 and completely changed positions. Yeah, now he says this whole thing is a farce, which it is. Now, You'll say, well, John, he's just looking for a pardon. I don't think Avenatti committed any federal crimes, so Trump couldn't pardon him if he wanted to. Yeah, the guy was going hard after Trump in court, now sees all the lawfare attacks on him as a charade. That's a significant change of heart. As far as reputations go, Avenatti might not be the greatest guy ever in the corner, but this about face on Trump is noteworthy. The other Trump critic mentioned in Robert's articles, William Barr, the Bush Republican who was Trump's attorney general for a while, that had nothing nice to say about him once he left the job. Barr now says that the Biden administration is in fact a great threat to democracy. I think they have a totalitarian temper. This is Bill Barr, who can't stand Trump, is saying, hey, you know what? They can say, well, John, he had change of heart, just keep it to himself. By making it public, it makes it a lot bigger deal. That's the important part here. People don't have to be all in on Trump. They just need to want to put a hard stop to the havoc the Biden administration is wrecking. I ran in many local elections here in upstate New York. I was on city council for 8 years. The vast majority of the people, especially at the local level, unless you have a certain issue that you're a single issue voter that you feel really important about, go with personality, how a person looks, how they carry themselves, not about the issues at all. Now, I was an issue-driven candidate, and I did pretty well, but even still, that's very rare. I had a local convenience store, which helped me out a lot as far as getting to the public goes. Now, all of us who are voting for Trump in November have been decked out in MAGA regalia this whole time. I would much prefer Governor Ron DeSantis to be the GOP nominee this year. It didn't happen. I didn't pout about it. I've seen a lot of Trump-hating Republicans insist they wouldn't be much better than Joe Biden. That's feelings talking, and that's patently absurd assertion. Trump at his chaotic worst would be 1,000 times better than Biden in the White House. For those that haven't found a breaking point yet, some of them are surely on the way. I have faith that you'll get there and maybe decide that you can overlook whatever it is about Trump that's got you stomping your feet. It's absolutely right. Absolutely right. I like that smirk in that picture. It's funny. Absolutely right. You don't have to like him to vote for him. You don't. It's not a popularity contest like the head of a president of a high school or a Miss Congeniality, or this is the president of the United States. The economy was booming. We had no new wars. In fact, we were finishing some. And then Biden took over, and the whole world went to hell. It started with a withdrawal from Afghanistan when 13 service members were killed for no reason, I might add, and tens of billions of dollars worth of equipment, weapons, planes, helicopters, jeeps, trucks, you name it, was left for the Taliban. I think somebody said, with all the equipment the U.S. left in Afghanistan for the Taliban, they were like the 12th best armed army in the world or some ridiculous thing. And that was just the beginning. That was just the beginning. We can go Title IX with the trans issue. We can go through the whole list. There's a whole list of stuff, pumping trillions into the economy to cause inflation that I haven't seen since the late 70s, early 80s. It's just we can go on and on and on and on. Well, what about Trump? Well, what about, this whataboutism is absolute nonsense. He broke the law. He's a traitor. Russian collusion. All of that is total BS. Total BS. You just don't like him. I get it. You don't have to give a reason why you don't like him. I get it. Because you can't. You just don't like his personality. All right, fine. If you only worked and associated with people that you like, you'd be pretty lonely and you'd have trouble finding a job. It's the way the world is. He'll do the best job over Biden by far. And especially the people that he hires, because this time he's not going to make the mistake of going along with what the old school rhino Republicans want. He's going to pick the people his gut tells him is the best. And also do due diligence on all of them. You won't have the ridiculousness that happened last time. Remember, he appointed Christopher Wray head of the FBI. What a huge mistake. But one thing about Donald Trump, he's made a lot of mistakes in his life, both financially and politically. But one thing he doesn't do, he doesn't make the same major mistake over again. Can Biden say the same thing? Just if you have to hold your nose and vote for Trump, then do it. Think about the country and think about the community and the people that you live in, the Americans. With 10 to 20 million illegal migrants crossing the border, it's out of control. Major cities are out of control with crime. They're breaking financially these major cities after they said they were sanctuary cities, so they're hypocrites too. And I could go on and on and on. I know accuse you to say that Trump was right. I get it. Just like the man on the street interviews where they switch the Trump policies and say it was Biden and they go along with it. They go along with it because they thought it was Biden's and they can't stand Trump. I get it, but do what's right. Voting is a huge responsibility. Do not throw it away. Until next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.